Dignity and respect is the common denominator that connects the whole human race. It is something that we instinctively know that we deserve. We have the right to, regardless of our situation, regardless of our job, regardless of our economic status, regardless of our family history, regardless of whatever part of the world we came from, regardless of our customs and so forth. All of us have a basis of wanting to be treated with dignity and respect without exception. Without exception. And that's a problem. See, treating people with dignity and respect does not mean we have to agree. Treating people with dignity and respect does not mean that we're always going to get along with everybody that we meet or all of our coworkers. It doesn't mean that we're going to be friends with everybody that we encounter. Well, then what does it mean? I mean, it also doesn't mean that we tolerate reprehensible conduct. It doesn't mean that we lay down on the floor and let people walk all over us like a doormat. So what does dignity and respect really mean? Let's find out. Let's go to the top of page 2, and you see it says, what is dignity and what is respect? And I'm asking you that question. I mean, I know that you want to be treated with dignity and respect, and on the right on the home page of my website, you will see all people want and have the right to be treated with dignity and respect, no exceptions. If you like that statement, you've come to the right place. So you're interested in dignity and respect today. You must have an idea of what it is. What is it? Quickly write down a couple of definitions or buzzwords for yourself to see what your own definition is of dignity and respect. And if you take this information back to your groups, your staff, and your organization, by all means, use that and find out. Get into a focus group or a team group or something like that and ask people, how do you define dignity? How do you define respect? And you will find that even though you may have some similarities there, that we're going to find a lot of different definitions. When you think about it for a minute, how hard is that? When I do in-person training and presentations, and I break people into groups, and I say, come up with a group consensus on what dignity and respect is, and give them time to discuss it, they figure, oh, this is easy, and I'll walk around and say, is this easy? And they generally say, no. This is a lot harder than we thought it was, because you always know when you haven't been treated with dignity and respect. I mean, people instinctively know it. And then you say to them, what do you mean by that? I wasn't treated with respect. What do you mean by that? And then the person stops and they start talking about situations. Well, it was this situation or that situation, and then you get into a dialogue about, well, what if they did this, what if they did that, and something was missing. And they know it's missing, but they can't put their finger on it. So, let's find out what dignity is. And let's find out what respect is, because most people talk about situations rather than the essence of what it means and how it feels to not be treated with dignity and respect. And also, how can you treat others with dignity and respect in a way that they will understand as well? And sometimes we totally miss the mark. Now, part of it has to do with people taking things personally. I mean, people take everything personally. That's the way we're made. People are basically self-centered. We take everything personally. And that also has to do with that itty-bitty living space that we have, that everything outside of us has to have a point of reference inside of us so we can make sense of it. So we wind up taking everything personally, even things that aren't intended that way. And sometimes people walk around ready to take offense. So sometimes people who are treating others disrespectfully don't mean to do it. They are operating from their own lack of self-respect at that time. Treating people with dignity and respect means that we make our choices and decisions of our words and actions based on our own sense of personal dignity and self-respect rather than reacting to what somebody else says or does. It means holding on to your personal power and your identity and ultimately being true to the person you believe yourself to be.